Good morning everybody, welcome back. We're on to day 4 now. We've got you up to the takeaway, so we're looking today to check and find out how we move the swing from approximately hip height up to the top of the backswing. In order for us to swing correctly to the top of the backswing, we've got to think about a few things. Number 1, the wrist cop. Number 2, the plane of the swing, and also combining the club face to that. So what we can do just to exercise these movements, if we swing very lightly with a really light loose grip, I've got a heavy club here that's got some lead dust sliding up and down through the shaft. This is going to enable us just to get the understanding, the feeling. And what I'd like to do with this club is hear the lead dust just slide down. So it's allowing me just to set the club from approximately, let's just say between the thigh and the hip area in the takeaway. I'm then just going to lever that club up. You can hear the dust just sliding down, and that's going to promote the wrist set. So like yesterday when we monitored the takeaway, we can use the same platform here, the same swing aim, just to help us understand the wrist set and the plane. Okay, so what I've got also is a ring just inside of the golf ball. I'm going to explain why. So I set myself up, I take my takeaway position as we did yesterday. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wrists just to lever the club a little bit more upright. Okay, so key checkpoints from now: the butt end of the club is firing directly down into the hole of that hoop there. Okay, so I'm moving it away, I'm setting the club, I'm firing the butt end down to there. What else? My right elbow is beginning to soften, and the shaft angle here just above the crease of the right elbow, so that would be on the correct plane. Now then, for me to sort of make this movement, we don't want to make it sectioned, stage 1, 2. We've got to have a little bit of flow into this movement. So really what we're looking to do in the wrist cop, we need to just apply a little bit of downward pressure into the wrists, okay, and that just enables the club to be set up a little bit more. So that's a good checkpoint. Obviously we get different shaft planes. This is incorrect. The arm path is wrong. The wrists are set in a hinged position and the club is working behind me too much. So I'm going to again struggle to get that club back to the ball correctly. The opposite way, of course, is to work it this direction. Again, you can see it's not quite right. So one final checkpoint from here, just apply a little bit of downward pressure into the wrists. The club will set upwards, the right elbow stays tucked down. And really we're looking at then the halfway back position where my arm is kind of horizontal at that. So if we're satisfied with the halfway back movement, we can then take the swing on into a completed back swing. Again, we've got our takeaway movement. We're staying fairly central in the axis. We're not trying to sort of sway at all, moving the head, staying fairly centered as we move those hands and arms away, combined with the turning from the trunk. We've got then the set, as we talked about, the left arm kind of facing in a horizontal position with the right elbow in a tucked position. So we've almost completed the backswing. We're resisting in the lower half. What we need to do now is think about allowing the shoulders to turn, the arms and the hands continue. Okay, and I've got my left shoulder beneath my chin with my hips turned, half of what my shoulders have done. So I'm pointing my back towards the target line. So that would complete the backswing with some width, keeping the right elbow down, left arm relatively straight, and of course a full turn of the shoulders with 90 degrees. So then to view the completed backswing from just down the line position, again we've got our swing aid here just to help us. So we've got that set up. Now we can take it away again. We know where we need to be there. There we are with the shaft now just above the crease of the right arm. So as I mentioned earlier, we're then going to apply the full turn. So the shoulders must turn, the chest turns, the rib cage, hips stay fairly solid to give us that little bit of resistance and use of the ground. And basically I'm positioning the club like so. And really what we're looking for is to try and keep the left arm as straight as we can, in line with our stick there, and also in line with that left wrist. So we don't want to try and get this cupped position here or too much of a bow position here, keeping that pretty much in line, that wrist shape in line with the left arm and the club face also on the same angle. So now we just need to combine the club face to all these other swing components. And here I've got some foam wrapped around the club head, just for us to clearly see what the club face is doing as we're making the movement from the ground to the top of the backswing. So, using the tennis rackets yesterday, this can be the same thing. Let me just square that up. So obviously we know where we need to be here. We've got our foam club head in line with the spinal tilt. From there, we've got to set the club, okay? And that would be a good square club face there. There would be open, my wrists have changed. Here would be where I've bowed my wrist a little too much and the club face is closed. So this would be a good position. Continuing my swing on, we talked about trying to marry the club face to the left wrist, left arm. And again, this would be quite a good position. Here's closed, here's open. Corrections would need to be made if we've got, you know, the wrong club face working down. So we've got, again, a good checkpoint there for us to see and create some awareness of the club face. So guys, when we're trying to absorb all this information and filter that through into the swing, don't go ahead and just try and make a big backswing immediately, just build it up progressively. So if we start off with some very small swings, light grip pressure, just feeling the sort of balance points of the club, you know, allowing this swing to be really smooth and light, initiating all the movements correctly, and just, as I mentioned, just build that up into a fuller swing. Once you feel happy, we just then try and do the same thing at the ball. So let's give this a go. Well, that seemed to work out quite well. So thanks for watching again today, guys. Hope you found it useful. Get some practice in if you can, and I'll see you tomorrow.